Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another OET All Stars live session. So good to see all of you back, and I look forward to seeing you come in, join me in this session. So I'd like to know where you're joining from. Please let me know. And if you can hear me, watch me, it's exciting. So just tell me where you're joining from and your name. Great. So we have got a lot more coming up on speaking, as always. So for a number of months, I've been doing clinical communication with you, helping you in excelling in your clinical communication aspects. So today I'm focusing on something different, on the linguistic criteria. So Amit Rai, hello, good evening, everyone. Lakshmi Lawrence from Philippines. Hello, everybody. My name is Milen Jacob, and I am from IRS Group. We are based in India, but we give expert OET training to our candidates across the globe. Hello, Rochelle, Soumya, hello. Good to see you. Yes. So I know a lot of you want to improve your speaking in OET and also your general skills of speaking English. And it's going to be of great help when you work as a health professional in an English-speaking country. Great. Lizelle from the UAE, Enowi from Philippines, Sindhu from Qatar, Praveen from Kottayam. Great. Good to see you, Praveen. Amit, hello. Nisha. Hello, Nisha. Good to see all of you. It was good, Amit, Diwali, though in South India, it's not as greatly celebrated as in Northern India. Great. Rabah from Tunisia. Hello, Rabah. Excuse my pronunciation if I'm not getting your names correct. Uh, Thank you very much, all of you, for joining. Charmaine from Saudi Arabia. Badu Zamat, hi. Where you from? A little bit tongue twister name for me from India, but good to see that you are joining this session. Fida from Pakistan, great Fida. All right. Danwanti from the UK. Smita, hello Smita, from Qatar. So I'll keep a tab on your post. Vic Potaya from Mauritius, lovely country. Raji, hello. Akshay John, hello. Pokiri from the UK. Shubham from India. Hello, everybody. It's great. So let's get started. Now, I've got a question for you. What do you understand by intelligibility? Now, this is a term you hear a lot, and it's one of the criteria of OET, especially in the linguistic segment. So what is intelligibility? Please type in, what do you reckon? What do you understand when you hear intelligibility? Good to see some of you from Zimbabwe, Cotabato, Tony, Tua from Vietnam, Bianca from Ireland. Hello, Gurleen. Good to see you. And you are a great trainer as well. Cindy from Myanmar. Hello, Sneha from India. Christy, Sebastian from Kerala. Rabba says it's intonation, word stress, accent, brilliant. Sudha says it's about understanding. Pokiri says it's being clear and simple. Absolutely. Good to know that all of you have an idea about what intelligibility is. So intelligibility is being the quality of being, understood, being heard. And now it sounds very simple, but sometimes we may not even be heard by our listener. We may have some hesitation, perhaps, or voice, the tone, sounds, all that might hamper being heard. And when you're heard, are you being understood? Is your language clear? Can the listener really understand what you're trying to say? Now, that's really important. Smita, fluency and appropriateness are closely linked, but they are separate criteria, which we'll be covering in another upcoming session. Um, so, um, some of you have mentioned a few aspects, and how can you improve your intelligibility? Be really, really good in being heard and being understood. How is that possible? Now, in the OET's speaking test, it's very important. In your clinical practice, it's very important that you are really understood and the communication is precise and accurate. So, how is that possible? We'll be looking at a few aspects of improving your intelligibility. But remember, this is such a vast topic, I don't have the time to cover it in its entirety. So it's just a random discussion and some interaction based on some of the relevant parts of um, the criterion. So there are a few things. Firstly, it's about intonation and stress. Now, some of you have already mentioned intonation and stress, which is a great thing. But for at least some of you, it's not very clear. How can you improve your intonation patterns? How can you bring in stress? Now, perhaps you might have a mother tongue which doesn't have the kind of intonation pattern as English does. Maybe it's a tonal language and not an intonation language. A lot of things. How can you improve your pronunciation? That's important. And there's another aspect which is often ignored, which is connected speech. So I've got a few activity, some discussion and activities for you based on connected speech, which is really, really important, not just for your speaking, but it will also help you in getting a great score in your listening subtest. And we'll finally look at accent, how mother tongue influence might impact or impede intelligibility, and a few other prosodic features if we have got the time for that. Right, so we'll start with intonation. Now, as you know, in English, you have intonation patterns, like the waveforms you see on the screen. How many kinds of, or what types of intonation are you aware of? Just type in the chat box if you know of any of the intonation patterns. Now, that will give me an idea if you really understand what intonation is. Now, intonation and stress are closely connected as well. So we'll look at those aspects, how you can improve both. You can't really separate them. They are entwined. It goes together. Let me know what is your thought about intonation? What do you know about intonation? Intonation itself is a pretty vast topic, as I've mentioned. Juveli says rising tone when asking question. Good. Any other answers? Feel free to type in your comments. It's all right if it's wrong. That's perfectly fine. So Rochelle says rising of voice. Absolutely. Fall and rise of voice. So M.A. Lynn Mellor says that. That's good. So it's good to know that you have an idea what intonation is. Excellent. So I'll give you a brief idea of what the most common intonation patterns are. Of course, there are other ones which I have not included in the slide. Now, predominantly, and if you're a beginner, if all of this is new to you and this might sound a lot of technical terms and jargon, now to keep it briefly, I'll start with falling and rising. So when does the tone fall? So as you can see, you have WH questions, what, when, where, all those questions. So when you ask a WH question, it is a falling tone. Like you ask somebody, what's your name? You don't, it just glides down, doesn't go up. You don't ask somebody, what's your name? That sounds very strange and weird. So, excuse me. Yeah. So when you have WH questions, it's falling. All right. And statements and answers also have a falling tone. So when you ask somebody what, when, where, why, who, which, how long question, it's usually falling. But when you give an answer, it's falling as well. So I'd say, my name is Milen, and I wouldn't say like my name is Milen, which is a rising tone. That's not good. So statements have a falling tone, answers have a falling tone, commands usually, yes, question tags where you are confirming something. All right, so that's not a genuine question. You just want to confirm. Yeah, I'm live. Am I not? It's just confirming if I'm live. That sort of question tags will also have a falling tone. So this is something which you can practice when you are preparing for OET. So if you are practicing with a friend or a colleague or a teacher, with a classmate, you can look at the tone of your voice, right? So I'll explain how you can create that in a bit, but just telling you what the common patterns are. Now, the next segment is rising. When does it rise? So when you have polar questions, yes or no questions, it goes up. So are you a doctor? It goes up. Are you a nurse? It goes up. Are you an Indian? It goes up. People ask me, are you an Indian? Really? So it goes up, right? So those questions, yes or no questions, are usually called polar questions. And the question tags where you expect an answer, right? There again, it's rising. Okay. Now, there are combination patterns which are usual. So oftentimes, don't expect that you have only sentences where you have a fall and either a falling tone or a rising tone. You have combinations. So rise, fall. There's fall, rise as well, which is not included in the slide, and those are fewer in numbers. So I've just taken rise, fall as well, where you have choices. Do you want tea or coffee? So it's like it goes up and then comes down, or list. So if you have multiple items in a list, it will go up, and then down. So you're supposed to eat a lot of green vegetables, fruit, and protein. So that's what happens in a list. Or an unfinished thought. So you're not sure about something, then you might, rise and then fall. Uh, I think I should do this. So that's an example. And conditionals. So if I were a doctor, I would have done this. So, you see, it goes up and then comes down. Now, I don't want to give you a lot of theoretical lesson. I just want you to know that these are the common patterns so that you can apply during your test, during your communication with someone. But I now want you to look at this sentence. Now, this would have a falling tone. Can you try to say or read this question aloud wherever you are, if that's possible? Of course, if you're in a busy workplace, you can't I get it. But if you're alone in your room, try to say this aloud. So it's like, have you been informed about the test results? Now, where would you stress? If you can, let me know. Which word would you stress? Type in the chat box. I really love listening to you and getting your answers because it shows that you are learning and you're improving. And that's going to reflect in your OET test and also in your day-to-day communication at the workplace, in any other social setting. Sudha says test results. Kyar says informed test result. Test results informed. May says it's falling tone. Lorraine says informed. Salini says test results. Emeline Mello says informed results, test results. I totally agree with your answers, but I want to introduce a new concept as well. To give emphasis to or meaning, to emphasize meaning, you can give stress to different words or different parts of the sentence. So, in that context, all your answers can be correct. So, one option is, have you been informed about the test results? So, it could mean like, were the results given to you or to someone else? Have you been informed about the test results? Or it could be, have you been informed about the test results? So, did you get the information or just told that they have come? That's another option. Or, as most of you have pointed out, have you been informed about the test results? So, what you have seen is something that's called thought groups. And so, we have focus words which will highlight the thought group. So, excuse me, what is the main thought that you want to stress? And then you pinpoint a focus word to show that. And those words, along with the falling tone of this sentence, a particular word will have a rising tone. So there will be a stress. And this is also called shifting, focus words or shifting thought group. So it depends on what you want to highlight. And in an OET context, this is very important. If you're going to talk about patient's involvement, you might stress you. Have you been informed about the test results? You had earlier mentioned that you would prefer your partner to be informed. But did you get the information? So you is what I'm focusing on, because it's about your decision, your test, your body. So did you get the information, right? Have you been informed? Because the nurse has written that you were informed, but did you really get the information? Or have you been informed about the test results? You're told about some other things, but the test results, were they given to you? So this is something which you can really, really apply in your test. So this is one of the speaking trick or tip. It's not a tip, it's not a trick, it's essentially a core area of speaking, of especially the aspect of intelligibility. So this is quite normal for native speakers, but for non-native speakers, you might have to develop this skill. So I've got a few more activities for you. You can comment, what would you emphasize? The results indicate that you have low blood sugar. So what would you like to put the stress on? Let me know. And try to speak wherever you are, stressing that particular word which you want to focus. Overall, this is a statement. It could be an answer or a statement, so it has a falling tone. Let me know, and it depends on the context which you want to highlight as well. All right. Shruti says test results, Sudha low blood sugar, Lawrence results, Ness indicate, Dr. Abdirazak low blood pressure. I'm afraid it's blood sugar, and that's all right, doc. Anyway, yeah, it depends. Like, so sometimes you want to be, impartial. So you can say like the results indicate that you have low blood sugar. Or you can, like most of you have talked about low blood sugar. Let's see how it works. So if this is the thought group, the results indicate that you have low blood sugar. Now, although it's a falling tone, that focus word or group of words you will stress. Even indicate you, yes. You could be talking to a family, and then surprisingly, the person who never had any diabetes or hypoglycemia now has come up with a surprising blood test results. So after the blood works, you're going to discuss this, and then you can tell like the results indicate that you have low blood sugar, not your mother. So you require this care treatment. Sneha says indicate you low blood sugar. Pravida says indicate and you, yes, the results indicate. Yeah, you can highlight that as well. So there's no fixed rule on what should be stressed. It depends on what is the particular word, the thought you want to highlight. Excellent. So try it. If you're new to intonation, try this in your speaking and see how natural it becomes. And that's the idea of being intelligible. And a lot of non-native speakers oftentimes might have a very flat tone. So emphasizing a particular word, thought group is really going to transform your speaking. That's going to be phenomenal. So try that. Shruti, yes. You and low blood sugar, rise in volume. Okay, yeah, that's what the stress is. So in a moment, I'll tell you a few things which you can use to give stress. How can you learn and apply stress patterns? Yeah. If you really enjoy this class, don't forget to share it with your friends, or if you're following on Facebook, please share if you like to. There might be a friend or a colleague who might be interested in attending as well. Good. A few more for you to try. I would really love to have you on a live interaction, but that's not possible. So that's why I'm asking you to try and speak this wherever you are. You mentioned about taking some tablets for your back pain. Tell me more about what you have been taking. Now, remember, these are all connected with some of the previous lessons which I've done on OET All Stars. So try to connect it. And if you have not watched any of them, they are available on OET's Facebook page. You can go to the events, and the recordings are there for you. Lorenz is mentioned. Okay. Tablets, back pain. All right, Sudha. Excuse me. We're talking about back pain, but I seem to have a bad throat. Okay, so if it's mentioned, how does it look like? You mentioned about taking some tablets for your back pain. Rabba says mentioned taking, okay, tablets, back pain. All right. So it's a little bit hard to put those stress dots on the screen. And remember, you don't stress all these words together. All right. Don't do that. It would not be good at all. But depending on your emphasis, you can do that. So you mentioned about taking some tablets for your back pain, or you mentioned about taking some tablets for your back pain. You mentioned about taking some tablets for your back pain. You mentioned about taking some tablets for your back pain. So that's how it might sound. Moira says tablets, back pain. Tene says more. That's from the next line. Yeah. Dinesia says back pain. Sneha, Matthew, you mentioned taking tablets. Very good. And let's look at the next sentence. Tell me more about what you have been taking. Rabba says more. Taking. Good. So it would look like, tell me more about what you have been taking. Or tell me more about what you've been taking. Let's move on. Okay. Now here you find a difference. We're going into a polar question, so it's rising. Did the tablets work? But again, you can give stress. Care taking, okay. I've just moved on to the next slide. So give it a try, everybody. Yeah. Yes, Care, that's right. Cindy Moore taking, okay. Taking more. Min has work. Yeah, work. May says rising to work. Yeah. So Care says work. Imo, can you tell me a little bit more about what you have been taking? Okay. Anne Margaret, work. Shruti, Rahul, work. Cindy, Rai, work. So everyone wants to stress work. So Lawrence is stressing a did. Okay, so did the tablets work? Or did the tablets work? Right, good. Are you allergic to anything? Again, it's a polar question. Sorry. Danvanti did work. Ethel work. Right. I'm says allergic. Moira allergic. Rabba allergic. Ness, Sneha, Rahul allergic. Farah allergic. Diana allergic. So everyone says, are you allergic to anything? Are you allergic to anything? So it's overall rising, but allergic takes an additional stress. Are you allergic to anything? Are you allergic to anything? It goes up. but allergic has an additional stress. So how do you stress? So remember, when you stress, right now we are talking about sentence stress. We'll move on to word stress, which is the stress pattern within a word, which is also a syllable stress. But right here, when you're stressing a word in a sentence, how would you, or any of the stress, whether it's a syllable or a word, how do you create stress? So remember, stressed sounds will be louder, all right, longer, and higher, at a higher pitch. So stressed sounds and words would be louder. You'll utter that word louder. It would be longer, so a bit slower actually, and higher, which is a high pitch compared to the rest of the words or sounds. So always remember that. So you can, when you're practicing, you can deliberately try it. Specific words that you want to stress. You can try to say those words louder, longer, which means making it slower and then at a higher pitch. That's something that you can always try. Okay, so now let's move on to the syllable stress. And I'm not going to extensively talk about it, but I've got a short activity for you. Right. So now words are split into syllables. So for instance, this could be to injury. So which one would you stress? Can you try the first one? Is it injury or injury? Let me know what would be stressed. Which syllable would you stress? I'm sorry, I have to wait for a few seconds, because there would be a time lag when I ask you to do something and your replies come in. But yeah. In Lawrence, in Nisha, Tenay, Minha says jury, May stress on injury both. Okay, Rabba in, Sudha says re. Okay. Most of you got it right. It's injury. So you can tell the patient, I see that you got an injury. Right. So can you try hospital? I don't want to sound it right so that you get a clue. Sorry about it. But I can't help it either. Give it a try. It's absolutely fine. If you go wrong, you learn. That's it. And we're looking at this word. Rabba says it's horse. Lawrence says P. Car says horse and horse. Tene horse. Sudha. Okay. May both. Right. Min has horse. Sudha horse. Rahul horse. Moira Rai. Okay. There you go. Good to see that most of you get it right. Now try the third word. I'm refraining from uttering the word so that I don't give you a clue. So that's why I have underlined the word, which means pretty serious. Hello, Naveen. Great to see you, Dr. Naveen Jose. Hats off to Naveen and a lot of you health professionals who work in COVID care. I know Perhaps all of you would have done that at some point of time. So we salute your hard work working with COVID patients in the front line. We are immensely grateful for all of you. So this is coming halfway through. You're right, severe. Don't say severe, it's severe. Severe. We're is stressed. Can you try the fourth word? I see some of the previous answers coming in, pouring in actually. Unfortunately, I'm sorry I can't reply to every comment. I'd love to, but technically it might not be possible at times. Nisha says it's fluence. Flu. Hello, Adira. Okay, I've got a lot of answers coming. It's influence. Now it's your time to try the fifth word. Okay, so is it going to be a pain killer or a painkiller or a painkiller? Depending on how the syllables are split. Sorry, I didn't, split it into syllables, but you can guess it out. Nisha says it's pain. Cindy says it's kill. Pain. Rai, killer. Okay, Dr. Abdirazak, killer. Sudha, pain. Shruti, pain. There you go. It's pain. So it's like painkiller. Painkiller. I'd give you some painkiller. Remember how you stress the three things? Can you remember? Recollect? Louder, longer, higher. Great. Now this is an interesting set of words. Of course, there are other words in this family, but I've just taken two. So you have two words with which are similar but a slight change in the spelling. So try the first one. And if you can tell me, right? Arokia says wise. Nisha says add. Farah says wise. Rahul wise. Sneha wise. Dr. Abdurazak says first one is add. Brilliant. Rai, add. Ethel wise. Right. Yeah. So basically, the first one is a noun. So you have the first syllable stressed. Add wise. Right. So the second one is a verb. So this is a noun and this is a verb. So for the noun, the stress is And the first syllable for the verb, it's on the second. So I'm going to give you some advice. What were you advising them? Verb, stress on the second syllable. So now, as I've told you at the beginning, this is not an exhaustive lesson on prosody and pronunciation features. You need hours and hours to do that. But I've chosen just some important aspects which you can apply in the OET context as well and improve your intelligibility and get great scores as well. Thank you. Salman Vengalam, Ferris, and everyone. So now we're moving into another area, very interesting, and I'll tell you what it is. But can you read this sentence first? You don't have to type in anything, just try to read. When did it start? Interesting. But when you speak, how do these words behave? It wouldn't look good if you said, when did it start? You'll have to do something. Okay. Any idea what you have to do to make it sound more intelligible, more natural, and much better for the listener? So we're looking at different aspects of connected speech, and we're looking at one feature which is called linking. And so what you see here is when you have a word which ends with a consonant and the next word starts with a vowel sound, the consonant sound detaches from that word and goes and links with the vowel sound. So it would become something like, when they did start. Now, you wouldn't speak slowly, cutting the words that way. You would say, when did it start? But look closely. When they did start, they did. When they did, when did it start? When did it start? Can you try saying that? When did it start? When they did start? When did it start? When did it start? When they did start? Great. Now we can try this one. This tablet is good for your earache. So where can you find that linking pattern in this sentence? Type in. Yes, many of you have started commenting. Lawrence, Moira, Minhas, Salman Vengalam, Sudha, Nisha, El Nazir, Dr. Abdirazak, Farah, Pukuri, and Thu, Gerd. Let's see. There are different areas where you can see linking happening. This tablet is good for you, your earache. So I'm happy that many of you spotted it. Excellent. Let's try something else. How do you utter this sentence? Devin Hello, good afternoon. Yes, Sebastian, can you try this sentence? Just moved on to the next one. Good to see that you have. That's right, Shruti. That's very good, Cindy. And right. So what you hear is something called intrusion. Something else comes in. So when you have two words, the one ends with a vowel and the other one starts, you know, in this case, there's an R sound which is, coming in between. So here is a toy for you. It's like an R was inserted there. So this is called intrusion. So you usually have R sounds, V sounds, J sounds coming in most commonly. So here's another one for you to try. Can you do it? If you can, try to guess what sound might be intruding into it. Can you do it? Where does it happen? Where does the intrusion happen? And what particular sound might be getting inserted? Uh, all right. Farah, Minhas, Cindy. Good, good. I see some great answers. May, Moira, Rahul, Sudha. So the ver sound coming in between do and it. So can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it? So all of this is, part of connected speech. So you speak in chunks. Even in the clinical communication, we talk of a chunk of information, which is grouping a piece of information together. But the chunking we talk here is putting words together. In spoken English, words are not spoken mostly separately. And but for many non-native speakers, that's one reason why even listening could be hard. You're not used to listening connected speech. So this is, cutting across subtext. It's going to help your speaking. It's going to be great for your listening as well. You can do a lot of things to improve both, actually. Okay, so this is something interesting. Another um, aspect, a different element of connected speech. Can you try to speak this? The most common cause is okay. I see some answers, causes. Um, um, yeah, there would be something else there, but that's right, May. I think right. Dr. Abdirazak, that's right. So this is something called illusion. So what you have here is that the ending letter of a consonant disappears. So the T, and usually this happens for letters like T or D, like the T is missing. The most common. You don't have to say the most common. It's something It's the most common. So the T is gone. It disappears altogether. Great. Did you get soaked or go swimming? Type in. And I'm happy that many of you are getting it correct, which is a great thing. So it shows that you're doing a lot of work, you're improving, and I guess you're almost ready for OET. As recently, OET All Stars virtual event went live, which had the theme "You're Prepared," and OET has given premium providers, All Star providers like IRS Group and many others the opportunity to do these lessons so that it will help you to be prepared. Yeah. My goodness, I've got a lot of answers coming. So this is interesting. This is called assimilation. What happens when assimilation occurs is that you come up with a new word. So, the date you got transformed into a new sound. Did you, did you get soaked or go swimming? Right? That's great. Now, if connected speech is something new for you, perhaps what you can do is even when you do a listening subtest practice or you listen to a podcast or a YouTube video or anything of that sort, observe for connected speech, whether it's linking or any of those different aspects. Try to listen for features of connected speech so that you can identify. So perhaps repeating a listening extract so that when you do it for the first time, you would be, of course, looking for the answers, but then you can use the same question, the audio, the extract, for you to flip and learn learn pronunciation for the first time. Sorry, I've got a power outage. Okay, I hope it's all right. Yeah. So try to learn to improve your speaking that way. It's going to be great. So we're almost running out of time. Now remember, you don't have to have a particular accent. You don't have to speak in a British accent or an Australian accent or any accent for that matter. That's not important. If you be aware of your mother tongue, all right, your mother tongue might have sounds, rhythm pattern, or a strong accent. For instance, in India, I find a lot of candidates might get an undue stress at the end of words. So that's a common, mother tongue influence that I see among Indian candidates. But in other parts of the world, it could be other things. So observe your mother tongue influence in your English. And it's all right to have a little bit of it. You may not be pretty able to neutralize it entirely, although a neutral accent is what might be acceptable. It's good, but what you have to focus on is that understandability. Because of your mother tongue influence, it's not hard for your listener to understand what you're saying. Trying to build on an accent which is not yours, and that's going to be hard. It's not required. Sometimes we call it a fake accent. I don't think you'll be able to sustain a fake accent for a long duration of time. That's all right. And now, we live in a global village, so to say, or you have all sorts of accents strewn all over the globe. That's all right. What's more important is to make sure that the pronunciation features, the prosodic features, are all going to help you be more intelligible, and be mindful of your mother tongue influence. So if you have a strong MTI, try to be observant of that, right? So I'm just skipping some, uh, but I'd really like to answer some of your questions. Please ask any questions if you have any about this part of speaking intelligibility, how you can improve your intelligibility. I hope it's back. Hello, everybody. Sorry for your patience. I hope it's back. All right. So, Salma Mangala, I don't get what you're saying. Maybe slang. El Nazir, am I back? I hope I am back. Oh, yeah. Thank you, May. So they're asking, can we stress on two words in a sentence? Yes, yes. You can ask like, did you get the tablets? Absolutely. Did you get the tablets? Sure, of course. Yeah. Any other questions? You can, yes, thank you, Moira. Please feel free to ask any questions. In the meantime, if any of you would like to enroll in a preparation course from IRS Group, we'd be happy to. We have one-on-one personal tutoring. I or one of our expert OET trainers will give you personal one-on-one training sessions, or you can, if you live in Kerala or India, you can come and attend our regular lessons. You can request a free demo class, and we'll have a placement test to assess your level of English right now. And so we've got some exciting new courses as well coming up, focusing on OET grammar. So that should help you as well. So that would be an on-demand course, and you can get it at a specific discounted rate right now. Um, so that I really don't get what you're asking. For giving a suggestion, okay. All right, I suppose you're asking about an answer. It would be a falling tone. And when you want to show empathy, make sure your tone is reflecting that, not just falling, but slower, and a pitch that matches that. Excellent. So if you've got more questions, let me know. You can type in the chat box later as well, and I'll try to address those in the next session of OET All Stars. So thank you everyone for joining, for your time, and for having me take this lesson for you. It was a great and enjoyable session. Thank you for your interactive answers, and it was pretty lively. Thank you everyone.